Hey everyone, welcome back to the Prime Pediatric Podcast. I am, of course, your host, Dr. Skip Weiss, and I am super excited. I have an amazing pleasure of having a doctor on here today that I respect and absolutely adore. She is an absolute juggernaut chiropractor, Dr. Christine Zapata. How are you doing? It's so nice to have you here.
I am doing excellent. Thank you for having me, Skip. I'm really excited for this.
Oh, me too. I've been watching you on social media for over 2 years and all of the work you're doing out there in Seattle. I mean, you all don't know this, but this woman practices in CHOP, which is like when all the stuff was going down over the last 2 years and the zone out in Seattle, like Dr. Christine is there. But here's the thing, with all that craziness that's been happening, this woman, this doctor has been shedding her light nonstop. And can you give us a little bit amazing background on who you are, what you're doing out there, and just how amazing everything's going for you in your practice?
Absolutely. I am Dr. Christine Zapata. I practice here in Seattle, Washington, just as Dr. Skip mentioned. I am a 2007 graduate of Life Chiropractic College West, and I am an upper cervical chiropractor. I started in San Francisco, worked as an associate doctor for a couple of years, and then moved to Seattle to take on an opportunity where I could not only learn how to build, run, and manage a high volume upper cervical practice, but I really wanted to also learn as much business as I possibly could, because I just felt like coming out of school, I really wasn't equipped to start a business and get it launched and thriving quickly. And so I ended up moving here. I thought that I would be here in Seattle for a year, and then I'd move back to San Francisco and open up my own. And I've been here since 2009. I love it here. I ended up working as an associate here in Seattle, then going into a satellite clinic with my mentor and building that up from the ground up. And after about 2.5 years, I was able to buy him out and then become the sole owner of my clinic that I'd always dreamt of. And since 2016, when I became a clinic owner, I have been bringing on associate doctors to train and develop them and just help them gain the skills and learn concepts and principles that can really help them in their own practices. And it's been a lot of fun. I have gotten a lot of joy out of doing that. And just a couple of years ago, I would say, early 2020, I started coaching through the Black Diamond Club and just trying to help other service professionals just reach greater heights in their businesses, utilizing a lot of the concepts and strategies that I've implemented in my own business and helped associates use in their practices. And that's been a lot of fun. So over the last couple of years, I've just really been trying to pour into my communities, whether it's the chiropractic community or my community here in Seattle. As Dr. Skip mentioned, during the pandemic, I wanted to try to do something that would spread positive energy and just brighten people's day during a really tough time that was just full of a lot of doom and gloom. As you mentioned, my office was super close to the Capitol Hill Occupy protest. The summer of 2020 was really tough. And so I decided to leave $100 at a local business one Friday. Back then, all the talk was, we're just going to lock down for 2 weeks. So I was like, all right, cool. I'll do this for a couple weeks until we get back to normal. And it's been 2.5 years and haven't skipped a Friday. And it's been great because that allowed me to stay in the forefront of people's minds during, again, a really tough time. When there was so much doom and gloom, there was me showing up for my community every week, trying to do something positive, trying to inspire people in our community to support our local small businesses, because I saw how stressed and anxious business owners were. I saw how stressed and anxious my patients and people in the community were. So I thought that this was a way that I could try to lead my community in a way that would just really spread positivity in the community. And it's been great because that exposure to the community has just led to so many other opportunities for me. The goal was never to do it to try to get new patients. Again, I thought I was only going to do it for 2 weeks, but because I have been able to show up for the community, um, whenever someone reaches out to us, we always ask like, hey, how did you first hear about us? It's like, I love what I have been seeing you do for the community. I haven't seen any other business owner or other even elected official step up for the community like you have. And because you are going out of your way to support the community, I want to support you. When I was looking for a chiropractor, you were really the only option for me because of the things that I've been seeing you do. So that's been great for us. And I don't feel like we're going to stop anytime soon because of just the impact it has had on the community. So it's been a
I
lot of
think it's
fun.
amazing. I think you picking up the ball and rolling with that, and that's a concept of benevolence, right? It's a concept of giving back to your community and giving them back the fortunes that you've been blessed to have is our ability to give back and help our community out absolutely as much as possible. And I think that is, you're the embodiment of that. And it's so cool because a lot of people look at this as like a one-off concept. Like, I'm going to buy coffee for that person behind me in line today, and it's just going to get passed down. Well, nobody remembers that. They do at the time. And I'm not saying that that's not a bad thing. I think that's amazing when people do that. We do that. But it's the constant giving back, the constantly showing up, the always showing up for your community, to always be in their mindset. And it's not even a marketing thing. You're coming at this, what people need to understand, and docs out there listening, Dr. Christine is coming at this from a place of love. She's coming at this from a place of support. She's coming at this from a place of what can I do with the money that I have to give back to my community, to show my community support so I can lift up all of my community. It's not a one-off concept. And actually, if you're thinking about this right now, a lot of you, I'm like, oh, I could do that. Can you commit to it for 6 months? Can you commit to it for 12 months? That's the key. Can you commit to it? And it's work, because I know you have to go to them. You got to record the videos. You have to get them ready to put them online. But the point of it is to create that benevolence and that support, right? Is creating that community. So you've created this office, you've created an amazing community. And I know, being a BDC coach, Black Diamond Club coach, I've had the pleasure of interviewing a lot of you because it's been so much fun. Your business concepts are amazing. You are the absolute queen of systems. And you are amazing at it. And I know that your husband, Jeff, is like, he's the spreadsheet juggernaut. So you've created this community though. And this works in the pediatric world as well, but it goes beyond just having a tribe. Wouldn't you say, Dr. Christine, like what have you done to create a community more than just a place of gathering and belonging? Because you can get that anywhere. Hell, they could have got that in CHOP. So what have you done?
Oh, what we've done in our office is really try to hone in on who it is that we're trying to bring into our office. I think that is really the first place to start when it comes to figuring out what type of community are you trying to build. And once you get really clear on who your ideal patients are, who are the people that you absolutely love working with, if you can figure out what are the things that make them tick, what are their interests, what are their hobbies, where do they like to go, what are the things going on in their lives that are really important to them, and trying to figure out ways that you can offer up solutions to problems that they have, or tailor the experience in the office to things that they would really be into, so that as soon as they step foot into the office, they're like, oh my God, like this place was made for me.
This place speaks to me. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And so it's really important to, I think, start there first, because then everything that you do and everything that you plan for after that is going to be geared towards catering to that specific person and that specific target market. And we have systems in place in our office from the moment someone is aware of us and they see the things that we share on social media, or they visit our website. There are specific things that we want them to experience so that, again, they feel like we're speaking to them.
Yeah.
And then when they reach out to us, there are systems that we have in place so that we can follow them from the moment they reach out to us all the way until they reach out to us, then get set up for a call with one of the docs, and then step foot into the office, and then their entire experience when they're in our office. We have all of that systematized so that the experience is the same for every single person that reaches out to us. And then we want to make sure that as we bring on team members and as our team grows, that everybody that comes on board understands exactly what is supposed to happen for a patient, and they know what their role is in that experience. And we have different ways to track that. You'd mentioned Jeff, my husband, who is the spreadsheet king. We track all of that because we want to see where are we getting people from? And if when they are coming in, what's their experience like? Are there certain points in their journey in our office where they may fall off, or are there certain things that happen at a specific time in their journey with us? If we know and can track all of that, then we can make changes or enhance a patient's experience if we see that this is kind of a recurring thing. So we're real big on systems, real big on hiring the right people as well, because I think it really affects just how well we can really take care of someone when they're in our office if we have the right people to help us do that. So
that's hiring people versus systems. Now, key thing that you hit on was defining your ideal client. Docs hear about this crap all the time, like define my ideal client. And to be honest with you, it gets kind of sickening to hear people say it nonstop, because I don't think anybody's ever given anyone an actual systems and procedures to understand it. I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars to sit in workshops, to listen to gurus talk to me about defining my ideal client. And I think it comes down to something that is incredibly important to understand. And that's your ideal client cannot rob your energy. They cannot steal what you have. And if you have a client that's in front of you that's actually stealing your energy, that's a vacuum suck, they're not meant to be there, because it robs that resource from everybody else. So if we look at this from a chiropractic perspective, the funny thing is you can define business in chiropractic perspectives. If you have subluxation process in the body that is robbing the body of its normal resources to actually function on a daily basis, and it's basically robbing the body to fight gravity all day and fight stresses, that's a problem. So it's the same thing in your office. If there's a patient that's bringing you stress that actually hurts you physically, mentally, and emotionally to take care of them, they shouldn't be there, just like the subluxation process in your body. So we need to look at it from that perspective. And a lot of the times, chiropractic itself, the philosophy of chiropractic is a business perspective to roll into business to run your office, just like you would a chiropractic adjustment, analysis, and correction. Right? So I look at it how ingenious you work, and you talk about defining your ideal client, which you nailed it. And could when you go into that and you work with your clients, when you work with your docs, how do you help them define them? How did they start getting granular? Because a lot of people look at it globally, like, I just want to adjust 20 to 40-year-old moms that breastfeed and show up to their visits on time. Well, yeah. Okay. So how do you define that, Dr. Christine?
Yeah, good question. Well, one thing that I always like to share with my associate doctors as well as my coaching clients is I didn't always have a practice like this where I got to see all of my favorite people. So I've been in practice for 15 years. And I'd say for the first 8 years, I ended up just seeing everyone with a spine. I came out of school thinking, well, everyone needs chiropractic, so I'm going to take care of everyone that is willing to come into my office. And I would say by the time I got to clinic ownership and joined the Black Diamond Club, I realized that I was spending my days just taking care of a lot of people that I didn't really find brought me joy. I work 12-hour days. I'm getting into the office at 7:30, and I'm oftentimes leaving close to 7:15, 7:30 in the evening. And there would be days where I would walk in feeling super energized and walk out of the office even more energized after a long day. And that was great because I had a practice full of people that I loved seeing. Yeah. But more often than not, prior to joining Black Diamond Club, I was spending days taking care of people that I didn't do my best work with. So after a 12-hour day, I'd walk out completely drained. And I realized that that's because I didn't have an ideal client. I was just taking care of everyone that had a spine. And so there were days where I would have to try to re-enroll someone who was like, hey, you recommended 24 visits and this is visit 8 and I'm feeling fine. Why do I need to keep coming in? And so I'd spend 20, 30 minutes trying to re-educate a patient, trying to get them back on track. And I mean, that's really hard. Or spending time talking to someone who's like, your care plan, like I trust that you can help me, but this is really expensive. Like, how am I going to pay for this? And so I tell people, once I got really clear on who it is that I wanted to work with, that really helped. And the exercise that I did and the thing that I try to share with other chiropractors is think about the people who light you up. Think about the people who bring you a ton of energy. When you look at the schedule and you see them on there, you're like, oh, awesome. I can't wait to see Skip. I love when Skip and his family come in. They're great. Think about those people. And so if you can think of 5 to 10 of those people and think about what are the common traits that each of them has. If you can figure out what it is about them that you absolutely love and figure out like what are the things that kind of draw them all together.
Yep.
That's a great place to start, because if you look at top 10 favorite patients that come in and you're like, wow, they're all in their early 30s and they all work in tech and they don't own their home. They rent an apartment in a high-rise luxury apartment building that's super close to their work. They don't have kids. They have dogs. They love hiking. Like, these are all people who they live active lifestyles. They love to travel. They love health hacks, life hacks. They love going to the farmer's market to get their groceries. If you can really start to hone in on their characteristics and really hone in on what it is about them that you love, I think that's a really good place to start when it comes to trying to clearly define who you do your best work with.
I think that's an amazing exercise. Like, that's solid gold right there. We should just stop that last 3 minutes. Exactly. It's what drives you. It's what gives you that energy, right? And if they're not giving you, so we go into this thing, we're givers, we're not takers, right? And we're going in to give and we're going in to help, but they're also doing the same thing. And if you're not on the same level with them, you're sucking their energy just like they're sucking yours. And both of you are not comfortable. And I love that. I love that practice, that exercise that they can do, because in the pediatric world, like, I love seeing kids. I absolutely love seeing kids. I like seeing newborns way better. And I love seeing pregnancy even more. So what is our office? It's 70% kids, and over half of it is under 6 months of life. And a lot of it on the other side of it is pregnancy. So you can see where that fits. And then I have a handful of grandmas I see because I love seeing grandmas. So like, because we're in our office, we say we're grandma approved, which is that's how they drive in these kids, right? So when we let's look at another exercise, right? So now they've defined their ideal client, and what are some things that they can do now to get in front of that ideal client that you've noticed, Dr. Christine, that's been extremely helpful and successful with you? Because you're talking about young entrepreneurs, but here's the other kicker: you're an upper cervical doctor. And to be more specific, you're a TATS doctor. So there's even more on that. So you've niched in a full spine world. So you completely defined yourself. What are some things you're doing now?
Some things that we're doing. We really try to, again, figure out where our ideal client, where do they hang out? Where can we find them? If we can figure out ways to get in front of them in those places, then that really helps. With our ideal patient in our office, they love being outdoors and hiking, camping, rock climbing. They love being part of a community. And so what we try to do is get in front of them. We know that they live in high-rise apartment buildings. So our office, we will host what we call wellness happy hours, where we team up with other healthcare professionals in our area. And we will go in and we will host a happy hour so that residents in these apartment buildings can actually get to know their neighbors. They get to meet face to face with some healthcare professionals that they might want to work with. And it's great because, again, our ideal client, they're health conscious. They're looking for health hacks. They're looking for ways to improve performance. And so if we're going into where they live and we're getting in front of them, and these people are like, oh yeah, I just moved to the area. I moved here to work at Amazon, and I need to get back under chiropractic care. You're here, like, I'd love to come into your office. Where's your office? And our office is 2 blocks away. And they're like, okay, great. This is convenient. I really like you. I want to come into the office. We try to get in front of them there because we're in there, where they live.
Mhm.
Because they are really active, we also try to get in front of people if they are if they're hikers, because they have dogs. We try to team up with a rock climbing gym that's really close to our office, or a doggy daycare that is right around the corner from our office, because that we know that our ideal clients and our ideal patients, they're hanging out in those places. So if there's a way that we can collaborate with these business owners on events that can just get us in front of more people that we like to take care of, I feel like that's a win-win for everybody. We also create events and monthly meetups that our ideal patients can come and participate in. My associate doctor, Dr. Van, she hosts a monthly hike on the first Saturday of every month. And we put this out everywhere in the community so that people know, like, hey, if you're into hiking and you want to explore other parts of the Pacific Northwest, maybe you don't want to go alone. We've got a group of people. Come be part of this hiking group. It's awesome. We'll make you feel right at home. Dr. Van's group over the course of a year has grown to over 3,400 members.
That's
And
awesome.
this group, they get together at the beginning of the month with Dr. Van, and they do a hike. And then while they're there, it's amazing to hear that a lot of the people that participate in her hike, they're starting to talk among themselves about planning other hikes later in the month. And while Dr. Van doesn't talk anything about chiropractic, at
Right.
some point it comes up in the conversation. And when the time comes and they need a chiropractor, they'll end up reaching out. One of the things that I do, and this is actually coming up later this week, I host a community cocktails event because everyone in the community knows me as being super generous. What I have done is create a monthly meetup where we all get together. We go to a local distillery, and we just hang out, and we feature a different nonprofit, a local nonprofit every month, so that people get to come out, they get to connect with other people in the community, they get to make new friends. And at the same time, every drink that is sold, Emerald City Spinal Care, my business, will donate $1 for every single drink that is sold at the event back to the local nonprofit. And I found that people in the community, they love that. They're like, oh my God, thank you so much for creating this event. I love that I get to meet people and I get to do good at the same time. So it's a win-win for everybody involved. And I find by giving people those opportunities to become part of a community that's filled with people who are into the same things that they are, they're more likely to stay in that community and continue to engage. And again, whenever the time is right and they need a chiropractor, they're not going to just do a random Google search. They're going to reach out to us because we've been there for them. We have provided a space for them to be part of the community, and they know us, they like us, they trust us. And so again, whenever that need is there, we can offer up a solution for them. So
You've
that's
created
something
that.
that we've done.
Well, you've created that community, and that's the thing that a lot of docs and chiros out there right now, even in the pediatric world, like you go and visit Leche League and you want to go talk about chiropractic. You go and visit any sort of mama get together, you want to talk to somebody about chiropractic. You don't need to go do there and do that. You need to go there and experience them as a person. You need to get to know who they are. You need to create relationships, because eventually they will come back to you. A lot of the times we're looking for silver bullets to create patients, when really creating a patient is much harder than establishing and creating an amazing relationship, which then develops into care. which then develops into trust because you already have the trust. They come in, they want to see you. I got off of a pre-qualification call this morning and I've established trust with this family of 6. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind they will be coming in shortly. There is none whatsoever. And because they trust me, they trust everything. And it's because I've known them for over 2 years. And I used to back away from taking care of friends. I used to back away from taking care of people that I love on and care on. And the reason why is I had a major major devaluation of my service and what I'm worth. And they actually want to pay me what I'm worth because they know what we're worth. And Chiro's out there listening. If you're in the pediatric world, the things you can do, Dr. Christine is talking about a concept called an ash tiptoe, which is always have something to invite people to create community and relationships, not create a tribe, but create community. This is the key, create community. The deal with this is that if you're dealing in the pediatric world, you still want to do stuff that includes your moms, your ideal moms and your clients, and includes them and helps them. So with their kids and stuff, you want it so moms can get a break so they can come and enjoy each other. What moms are looking for is time. They want time. And sometimes they need 30 minutes to an hour to themselves so they can recoup and be a better mom, just like we are as parents. The more time we get away, Julie and I, we come back better parents. The more time you get away from your office, you come back a better doctor. So we got to create community. So Dr. Julie does community and cocktails. She does cards. She does dice games, bunco, things like that. These are things to increase community. Also think about doing, like, now that we're in the summers and we're getting in the warmer months, if you're in Northeast Wisconsin, like I am, or if you're down south, or if you're out like Christine deals with this stuff too, when the weather gets good, start making play dates, start making get-togethers at local playgrounds where you can start getting to know these moms, getting to know these kids, and creating these community groups where moms have people to talk to and share their stories back and forth and have that place of warmth. That's the key, right?
Yeah. For a lot of people, I don't think that they realize that in order for people to do business with you, people are going to do business with those that they know, like, and trust. I've mentioned it a couple of times. And I think at least what I have seen for new docs coming straight out of school, or service professionals who don't quite understand this, they feel in order to build trust, they have to tell people all the information and knowledge that they know. So they have to tell people, like, hey, I'm an authority figure in this because I know this, I have this degree and this degree, and I've taken this certification, and I know all this stuff. That's not really what builds trust and credibility for people. It's, do they like you? Are you personable? Are you relatable? Are you someone that they could see themselves hanging out with because they genuinely think that you're an awesome person? I feel like that's really the biggest difference with, I think, again, how people are perceiving what they need to do to build trust and credibility, and then what we're taught in the Black Diamond Club. I really think that if people focus on trying to build this community, and again, you'd mentioned it, not necessarily building a tribe, because I think people think, well, in order to be part of this tribe, I have to be a patient in your office.
That's exactly.
Whereas with our community cocktails and our hiking groups, I would say the vast majority of people that come to attend these events, they're not even patients in our office.
No.
We have some patients who come in and bring their friends, and this is great because it's an opportunity for them to bring other people that they know who need to be in our community. It's a very non-threatening and very, like, low level, low barrier to entry opportunity for them to bring their people into our space without having to be like, hey, you have to come with me into the office. It's, hey, you need to come with me to this thing because my chiropractor's gonna be there. They're awesome. And you'll see that there are also other people who are just as cool at this thing. And I think that's what's really big about community versus tribe, because the community, you want a group of people who aren't necessarily patients of your office, but they're people who, again, they're into the same things that you are trying to support and lift up. And so that's what I think is really important. You can build a lot of trust and credibility with people just by offering up a solution to their problem, which again is they're looking for community. If they're looking to be part of something that is bigger than them, that involves people who are into the same things that they are, that's going to be huge. Like, you can grow a much larger community that way than just by sticking with a small little tribe that consists of people in your office.
I love that, because that's a big thing for barrier to entry is people are like, man, I don't know. I have to be a patient of Dr. Christine's to get into this. It's like, no, this is for creating community, and they get to know who you are. Like, they want to know the person. And you can establish trust through education to a point. I would say 5 to 10% is built through your educational components, but that's really it. Just like when we talk to people, if we took 100 people in a crowd, I could just say what, if, but, or can. 10% of people are going to think I'm an amazing person. 10% of those people are going to think I'm an idiot. It's the people in between that need to get to know who you are and understand who you are. And then they can trust, and then they look at your education, and then they will look and say, holy crap, this Dr. Christine knows what the hell she's doing. Plus she's amazing. And that's how we work. Like, Dr. Christine, this has been amazing. Again, you're dropping stuff that most docs don't hear. They try to do it. They can't replicate it because they don't understand the reasons behind it. And it's just like trying to replicate somebody's care plan. Dr. Skip recommended 60 visits for that kid. Well, yeah, but do you understand the reason why? Do you understand the reasoning behind it? Do you understand the reasoning behind why Dr. Christine recommends a certain amount of visits for upper cervical care and Blair care? No, because you don't do it. So you got to understand the whole foundation to it. So in parting here, Dr. Christine, how do my docs get a hold of you? How do they know who you are? How can they find you? How can they get in contact with you?
Yeah, if anyone wants to connect with me, you can follow me on social media. I'm on Facebook and Instagram at Dr. Christine Zapata. You can also check out my website. It's www.drchristinezapata.com.
Can you how do they spell your last name, Dr. Christine?
Sure. It's Z-A-P like Paul, A-T like Tom, A.
There you go. And it's C-H for Dr. Christine, not with the K. All right.
No, it's spelled the right way.
That's right. Because some are going to get this in video and some of this are going to get it on audio. So this has been an absolute pleasure, Dr. Christine. You are amazing. Your office is fantastic. What you're doing in Seattle is second to none. And you are exactly who people should be mirroring if they want to create a massive impact, help a ton of people, create more money, and just have a lot of fun doing it, which is what we love to say inside BDC, which Dr. Sean and Dr. Lacey. And just thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure of mine.
Thank you so much, Skip. This is so much fun. I am very honored to be able to share with your community. So thank you for the opportunity.
Very welcome. And they're blessed to have you. Trust me, they have to hear me every week. So, all right, everybody, take care. I appreciate you all. Go out there and get it done. Bye, everyone.